Mr. Shafer, would you like to explain a little bit why MMSD is
here
supportive of this project?
Good evening, everyone. Again, I'm Kevin Shafer, and I'd like to recognize John Hermes, who's the vice chair of the commission. He's a major.
Yay, John!
And as you've heard, it takes partners to do projects like this, and my wonderful interns lined up in the back, and smiling, ready to help. Rain gardens, rain barrels, anything that you want, they can help you with. The reason this is so important, here's one lot. It's going to manage water, it's going to reduce runoff into this storm sewers and sanitary sewer systems in the area. What will 100 of these do? What will 500 of these do? What will 10,000 of these do? You multiply them through their city, through the region, and you'll see all the other benefits besides just the rainwater capture. That'll be a big component for me. For reduced crime, more neighborhood involvement, getting people together to really try to improve their quality of life. So for me, it's managing water where it falls. That's really important. I'm really happy to see so many people in the neighborhood and people here excited about what we're doing and what everyone's doing. And I think hats off to you because you're the winners and the real champions of this. So thank you.
Would Captain Smith and John Chisholm come up here immediately? Giving orders to a cop and a DA is really fun. I've been on the wrong side of that a few times.
No story.
Thank God, statute of limitations. You graduated from Marquette High and Marquette Law School.
Well, actually, Marquette High, and then Marquette University, and then UW Law School.
UW, oh, thank
covered all
God.
bases.
Covered all my bases.
That way, Joyce can't be mad at you, but Rana, apologies.
It's all right. We celebrate diversity.
And he served in
Go UW!
served in Korea, and he is a national leader for the innovative community prosecution unit that places prosecutors in Milwaukee communities to work on proactive, community-driven crime prevention strategies. I had to read that one to make sure I got it right. And one of the first being placed here on the west side is Assistant District Attorney Chris Ladwig, who has also been a very strong supporter of this project, has attended meetings once in a while and helped us with some of the CSPHNI, and you were going to explain what CSPHNI means. Captain Jason Smith, thank you. He has been a mainstay for us. In fact, we had a little incident, I won't describe it, but we had an unfortunate incident here, and a lot of us were upset about it, and Joyce wrote to Captain Smith, and he said, don't worry about it, Joyce. We're not going to let Cold Spring Park get away from us.
Awesome.
And they haven't. One night I looked out and there were bike cops and foot patrols, and we counted, Johnny and I sat on the porch having a drink and watched 11 different passings of 4 at least different police cars. And that's kind of a random thing that says to people, don't mess with this neighborhood. And he's doing that in a bunch of neighborhoods in District 3. So I really appreciate both of you for your commitment and your help and your programs, such as CSPHNI, and your persistence in pursuing those that have helped us immeasurably.
Introduction, and Joyce, thank you for your vision and your persistence. Community prosecution is a vision, pure and simple. It is premised on the notion that good people and good places greatly outweigh the bad people and the bad places. And often what is lacking is the ability to knit the good people and the good places together in a way that recognizes the strengths, the vitality of those neighborhoods, and allows people to reconnect again, fundamentally to reconnect and just appreciate the great qualities that you have just not only in your neighborhoods but throughout this entire city. So the fundamental premise behind community prosecution is that we want to approach it oftentimes through a public health perspective. We want to prevent things from happening in the first place. We want to intelligently intervene when those bad things happen, and we don't want to rely on the police and prosecutors handling problems once they've spun out of control. So if we want to then address in the context of places what we've learned through time, and I'll talk about what CSPHNI is. CSPHNI is, in effect, it's sort of the public health approach to places. So what we found is that you can do crime prevention through environmental design. The studies that they've done, impressive studies coming out of Chicago, for example, just to give you a brief analogy, if you had $3 million, you could put $1 million into social services, you could put $1 million into police services, or you could put $1 million into something as basic as fixing up your front porches in your neighborhood. And guess where they find the greatest crime reduction? It's when you actually fix up those places. Why is that? Because it conveys a message to that neighborhood. The people in that neighborhood are connected, and they care about their community, they care about their neighborhood. So crime prevention through environmental design is what we're doing right here. We have a broader vision. There's no question about that. Our broader vision is not just to create a safe place right here, but to connect this place to so many other places. I've asked, and actually your very first District Number 3 community prosecutor is now one of my deputy district attorneys, and I've asked him to expand his role. That's Jeff Altenberg. Yes, there is a connection between Jeff and Rana. And you know, Jeff started the community prosecution program, expanded it dramatically to now we have a presence in almost every police district station in Milwaukee. And again, it's just premised on the notion that we can work with the community to solve our problems for the long haul. Just as MMSD would not want to be defined as the people that run Jones Island, right? We don't want to be defined as the people that just put people in jail and prison. That's the back end of the system. If I had a vision, it would be similar to what you're trying to do here, and that is that you don't want all the rainwater going into the spouts, right? You want it being irrigated and out where it's doing the most good. We have the same approach with the criminal justice system. We don't want to just be a funnel that takes all the problems of the community and dumps it on the police and the courts and the prosecutors and the prison systems. Our goal is to actually connect with this community so that we can irrigate the community, bind it together, and address these problems in a much more thoughtful and a proactive way. So that's why, in real terms, what you're doing here is so important, but also just in philosophical terms, it's important because it's a vision for how we're going to be a better community in the future. So thank you all for being here and for doing this. And if I haven't explained CSPHNI enough, Chris Ladwick is going to be called to talk about it further. So thank you very much.
I'll just take a brief minute. Number one, a great celebration, a fun night to be out here.
Yes.
And I want to thank the community for what we did last week, right down the street at one of our anchors from the near west side at Harley-Davidson. We hosted the National Night Out. Almost 1,700 people attended. By far the biggest in the city and the biggest I think that anyone remembers. And it's year after year now, the other captains, the other districts are scheduling theirs before ours, so we don't shame them out of actually illegal. Joyce, you mentioned the weeds in this yard are going to be removed during this plot of ground. Actually, I'm looking at all the clover and creeping Charlie. It looks like my yard. So hopefully we'll get the next project up by me. But following what John said with CPU, and thank you so much to Charlie and Joyce. When I first got here 3 years ago, I had a couple rough community meetings to start my tenure off here at Number 3. And having partners that support you, it goes both ways. But one of the things I heard relatively quickly is that we need a police department in a district that's reflective of what the community wants. And in doing that, we built the biggest and most effective CPU unit in the city. Every captain has the ability to determine how their resources are organized in the district. And you got to pull from somewhere to put them somewhere else. And in doing that, we created a monster CPU team. Some of those officers are here today. And we are in the field every day, not just responding to calls and trying to prevent crime, but also problem solving with residents and building capacity in these neighborhoods, including Cold Spring Park. So I think it's safe to say the Milwaukee Police Department doesn't just measure success anymore by dots on the map and reducing and preventing crime. It is truly about community engagement, because this is what it looks like when it works. This is what it takes to people to have sustained energy 3 years long to build this. People have to believe they can build this in a neighborhood. They have to want to do it. And a lot of that comes on our public safety end from clearing a path and making people believe in themselves and in their neighborhoods. People have to believe in government, and that's what we're doing here. So again, thank you for making us part of this.
Jason,
And,
can I ask one thing, and I forgot to do it? Could you mention the role of Safe and Sound and the community prosecutors in doing the neighborhood survey?
For us, District 3, one of the newest and biggest districts, we filled it up. We doubled up desks because, again, these aren't casual relationships. We brought these teams in to work every day as part of a team. So it is Safe and Sound. It is the City Attorney's Office, the District Attorney's Office, Sojourner Family Peace Center, DNS, and now all of this is being captured. This best practice that we've created in several neighborhoods is becoming the foundation for the new West Side Partners and the Park Initiative. So the good news is, the great news is that this won't be the first one or the last one that you're at. Okay, there's going to be a lot of this going on near West Side. So I'm very excited about it, and thank you so much for what you've done here.